Please consider liking the video and subscribing. Let's begin. Over the past month, I've done versus videos, and clearly you guys enjoy them, and I enjoy making them. Going through each scenario and picking the fighters, also setting up the match in general. As I was thinking of the next video, I thought of one that was unique, but also makes sense. What if John Wick, a legendary feared assassin, went up against a team of misfits, the Suicide Squad? James Gunn's Suicide Squad, by the way. I'm not messing with the 2016 film. It's not that bad, but I mean, come on, it's also not good either. So for this video, I wanted to see if John Wick could defeat the Suicide Squad. I'm breaking down each member's powers and abilities, but also their weaknesses. Let's go through a couple scenarios and see if the odds are far-fetched. I don't think they're that crazy. Also, I want to say thank you for 800 subscribers. I cannot believe we have made it this far. So once again, thank you all so very much for that. Okay, now let's get into it. Okay, let's start with John Wick, movies 1 through 4. John Wick is a feared and highly trained assassin, one of the best, if not the best, in multiple areas of combat, the first being hand-to-hand. John Wick is a master in over 12 different fighting styles. Now, that's just what we've seen on screen. Next is that he's also a master marksman. There is no weapon John Wick doesn't know how to use, and if there is one, he'll learn it on the fly. I mean, look at this, one of the most notable scenes in the franchise that truly shows off his skills. In this one, John Wick 3, Parabellum, when he's fighting in a weapon shop against multiple enemies. Here, John not only stops them from using their weapons, but also provides many counters and clever ways to get out of situations. Another aspect that makes him unique is that he uses his surroundings to his advantage. Always aware of what's around him, having faster reflexes than most, John Wick is no joke. Outside of just straight combat, he's stealthy, able to sneak up on enemies and blend into a crowd, even when he's fighting. Planned, he's very organized and thorough. If he knows what situation he's getting into, he will make the correct preparations. For example, when he went to Rome, he got his suit tailored with the correct armor, armed up with the best guns and bullets. Finally, he's very wise. John Wick, despite him being a hitman for only a couple years, he certainly wasted no time climbing up the ranks and making a name for himself. So, we know who he is as a person, but going back to his feats, perhaps the most notable one is that he killed 2 men with a pencil. In one of the most iconic scenes in John Wick, he wastes no time. He took care of those guys like nothing and went about his way. During this fight, he was also bleeding from his side from a previous encounter. But how durable is he? Well, in the second installment of the franchise, he survived the bombing of the house. His entire house was blown up and John Wick didn't die. I mean, come on, of course not. He was also shot off the roof of the Continental, falling many stories, and even that wasn't enough to kill him. He's been through so much, being hit by cars, surviving the blazing heat of the desert with no water and just running off willpower. But who was his strongest opponent? Who was close enough to be his equal? Well, I'd have to give it to Zero, the final boss in John Wick Chapter 3. Zero is so far the closest assassin in skill to John Wick. In this fight, he matched up John Wick's speed and combat. One of the reasons for this is Zero is a huge fan of John, idolizing him and wanting to be like him. Of course, he's ultimately defeated, but not without a fight. And in the end, John Wick proved himself to be greater, and he killed him. Another opponent I'd say is Cassian, another elite assassin who gave John Wick a hard time, fighting in multiple areas, first on the streets, both of them going back and forth, the fight ending when they break into the Continental. Next is the subway. John and Cassian go at it again, but with John hindered a bit, he still somehow defeats Cassian. Now, we don't know what ends up happening to him because John stabs him. He leaves him in a sort of limbo state. Hopefully, Cassian returns in the next film. So, we know John Wick is highly skilled and deadly, but he isn't without some weaknesses. Now, obviously, he's human, so a certain amount of hits and bullets could put him down. Other than obvious ones, and one weakness he has is one of his greatest attributes, his anger and revenge. John Wick will stop at nothing until his job is complete. The person who needs to die will die because of this. It has caused him to lose many friends and connections. When he killed San Antonio D'Antonio inside the Continental, which we know is against the rules, because of this, every assassin is hunting him down. Another one of his weaknesses is his confidence and his skill. John Wick truly believes that he can kill everyone who is against him, and so far, I mean, he's not wrong. Is that even a weakness? Well, spoilers if you haven't seen the 4th film, but John Wick is presumed dead. Now, we all know he's still alive, and yes, he's hurt a bit, but he'll be back in no time, killing again. We looked at Mr. Wick, now let's jump into the Suicide Squad. Like I said, the Suicide Squad that I'll be focusing on is the James Gunn adaptation. I just prefer those characters over the 2016, and it's because it's a way better movie. I mean, come on, look at this. What the hell is this? As a team, the Suicide Squad consists of the following: Bloodsport, Peacemaker, Harley Quinn, Ratcatcher 2, King Shark, and Polka Dot Man. Rick Flag is also part of the team, but we'll keep him out of this. He's been through too much already. Rest easy, Rick. Okay, let's look at Bloodsport. A very good quote that fits him who he is as a person is one said by Amanda Waller. A world-class marksman. In his hands, anything is a deadly weapon. His father was a mercenary who trained his son to kill from the moment he was born. He's in prison for putting Superman in the ICU with a kryptonite bullet. End quote. This is a very well said quote for Bloodsport. He's extremely dangerous, a master marksman. The fact that he put Superman in the ICU is crazy. I'd even say he's as accurate as Deadshot, who's no joke either, but that's another discussion for later. Like John Wick, any weapon in his hands is very dangerous, even if it's not a weapon. Bloodsport is very skilled, basically a copy of John Wick, only I'd say he has a better suit. In terms of feats, one of his greatest is, I guess you could say, he's defeated King Shark, firing bullet after bullet at him, putting him down and hindering him a bit, and we'll see later why that's impressive. Other than that, firing a bullet at Peacemaker, but so precisely that it went through his bullet and got him in the neck, that is crazy. His weakness though is his fear of rats. He is very terrified of them. Like Bloodsport, Peacemaker is another very efficient killer and assassin, being skilled with any major weapon and also in hand-to-hand combat. Perhaps something that separates him from Bloodsport though is that Peacemaker kinda has no feelings towards others, but especially when it comes to keeping the peace. In his words, "I cherish peace with all my heart. I don't care how many men, women, and children I need to kill to get it." But of course he is human, and at first you're against this character a bit, but when you watch his own show Peacemaker, it gives you a clearer picture of who he is. His weaknesses include a lot of things, including his troubled childhood and his father who was extremely abusive towards him. Plus, he suffers from a lot of mental illnesses, such as schizophrenia and trauma. We all know Harley Quinn. She's extremely intelligent and unpredictable, also being skilled in hand-to-hand combat. She's no joke. Like the others on this list, she's an expert marksman, being able to use any weapon. Though I'd say she's not as accurate as Bloodsport, she's still dangerous. Her skills are more with her mind. Some might not take her seriously because of her attitude, but she's a genius, even being smarter than Joker himself. But Harley is not that powerful. In terms of her durability, she's an expert at dodging and hits and countering, but then again, she is still human, meaning that with enough damage, she'll end up dying. Outside of her mortality, another weakness is her insanity, which sometimes makes her make poor decisions that cause her a lot of trouble. An interesting character, Ratcatcher 2, daughter of Ratcatcher, has only one ability, the ability to control rats. Now, that might sound like a lot, but she can summon any number of rats that she wants to and make them do her bidding, killing or that be other things. But without that, she's just a normal human girl. Plus, she also suffers from hypersomnia, which makes her extremely tired during the day, making her more effective at night. Another very interesting character who's the fan favorite is King Shark. Now, this shark possesses immense physical strength, allowing him to overpower opponents with ease. He's so strong, making him durable against any type of damage. He can also rip a human apart with ease. Being the Hulk of the team, he has super speed and the ability to regenerate damage. You could say he's the strongest member on the team, but he could still be put down. Like I said earlier, Bloodsport was able to fire round after round against him. Another weakness is his intelligence. King Shark is not smart at all, easily distracted and fooled. The last member on the team is Polka Dot Man, a man who is capable of generating and throwing explosive polka dots to his enemies. With his great powers also comes great weaknesses. Because of his condition, he must vomit polka dots twice a day. The reason for this is if he does not, then they would consume him from the inside, killing him. Okay, so now we know both sides. So how would John Wick do against the Suicide Squad? Well, let's say for this one, John has had time to prepare and go over each member's stats. I think for this, he would win. He's fought many men like Bloodsport and Peacemaker, so this shouldn't be a problem. Bloodsport would probably survive the longest because he's slightly enhanced. Peacemaker, on the other hand, would not be able to keep up. In terms of Harley, well, she's just a normal girl. Yeah, she's very smart, but John Wick is just on another level of combat genius. King Shark would also fall under prey of John Wick's intelligence. John would somehow find the way to use King Shark as a weapon against the others, whether it be as a body shield from bullets or literally jump on top of him and steer him around, God of War style. The two odd ones would be Ratcatcher and Polka Dot Man. First, if Ratcatcher summons millions of rats to kill Mr. Wick, then John is dead. But I think John Wick would realize that without her device, she's powerless. After taking care of her, Polka Dot would be something John Wick would be able to dodge. Once again, he would find the way to weaponize them against the others without causing himself harm. For this scenario, John Wick would win because he had prep time. Now, let's flip the switch. What if the Suicide Squad had time to plan and kill Mr. Wick? Amanda Waller needs them to take him out because of the threat he possesses. She gives them all the details about him, so they go on a stealth mission to his house. That isn't blown up in here. For this, I still feel like John Wick still stand a chance, but because they had time to prepare, I feel like ultimately, he would die. He would manage to kill at least two of them, maybe Polka Dot Man, Ratcatcher, and maybe a third. Yes, John Wick is dangerous no matter the time of day, but when sleeping at the most vulnerable, especially against these guys, I feel like he'd lose. Now, if John Wick were to go after each member one by one, then for sure he's killing all of them with ease. Once again, Bloodsport and King Shark would be the last two standing. John and Bloodsport would get into a fight that would be close, because Bloodsport, in my opinion, outmatches any fighter John Wick has ever fought. Especially with Bloodsport's gadgets, it would catch John by surprise. I think Bloodsport would for sure stab and shoot John Wick a couple times, but like I said, the boogeyman would come out on top. As for King Shark, a monster that is extremely hard to kill, I think John wouldn't even try to kill him, instead convince King Shark to leave and go back to the ocean, or perhaps offer him a deal to join him. Imagine that, King Shark and John Wick, an unstoppable duo. Watch out, High Table. Let's say it's an even playing field. John Wick is armed with his weapons and prior knowledge of each member. Same for the Suicide Squad. They're armed and have read up on him. Who would win here? Well, I think it would be very close. Let's say that the fight would happen in an abandoned building. John Wick would use his surroundings more than the Suicide Squad. Once again, I just don't see John Wick losing this. I know the Suicide Squad is an elite, but John Wick is on another level. In just a span of a couple weeks and even under a year, he has killed over 439 people, which is insane. He is feared in a world of ruthless killers for a reason. He is literally death. If you feel like I did the Suicide Squad wrong, please let me know. Plus, how do you think this fight would go? Also, once again, I want to say thank you so much for 800 subscribers. I am truly grateful. Thank you all so much. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Check out some of my other videos. And please take care of yourself. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.